Hi, I'm Traci, and welcome back to Just a Sip. This is a space where we talk about beauty without pressure, wellness without perfection, and small, repeatable practices that support real life. If you've been feeling a little stretched lately, or a little tired, or simply need a moment to reset, this episode is for you. Today, I'm talking about makeup for mature skin and 5 things that make the biggest difference. Because sometimes when makeup starts to look heavier or settling differently or not giving us the same fresh finish we want, it's easy to think that something is wrong with our face. But often it's not our face. It might be the approach we're taking to our face. A few thoughtful shifts can help us have our makeup look smoother, look lighter, and more radiant. So let's just sip on that for a moment. First of all, when it comes to mature skin, better makeup comes from prep, lighter layers, and thoughtful placement. Not more product, not more coverage, and definitely not more pressure. I want to share with you 5 things that I feel can make the biggest difference in your makeup. First off, skin prep. Skin prep matters much more than people think. Beautiful makeup starts really before the foundation, really starts with your skincare routine, but we'll talk about that in another video. As your skin matures, it can become drier, less elastic, and sometimes it gains texture, it gets more textured. So if the skin is not well prepped, makeup sits on top of that instead of melting into it. And that means it's not hydrated enough. A good moisturizer, a nourishing eye cream, and giving your skincare enough or a little time in between layers to settle can make a big difference. Sometimes the glow that you're looking for starts before you even pick up your brush. Number 2, using lighter layers. This is a big one. A lot of us were taught to apply enough makeup to fully cover everything. But on mature skin, heavy layers can actually emphasize the very things we're trying to soften. Instead of piling it on, try using less product and building only where you need it. For example, when I put my foundation on now, I buff it into the brush. I put it on a little palette, squeeze it out, buff that into the brush. Then I buff it on the back of my hand, so I have some on the back of my hand, and then I apply it to my face. By the time it gets up from here to here, it's a thin layer. If I think I need more, I go back and get a little more. Or, if I won't put on too much because I've thinned it out so well. I want you to think, as I said, thin layers, soft coverage, and skin that looks like skin. So now I feel my skin doesn't look like, yes, you can tell I have on makeup, but it doesn't look like, oh, she put on her mask today. Very often, the lighter layers give you a fresher, more radiant look. Also, you want to be thoughtful about the placement of your makeup. Placement can change everything. You don't necessarily need a product everywhere. So, for example, when I put on my foundation, and I have, as many of us do, I'm primarily lighter in the center of my face and darker on the perimeters. And actually, my undertone in the middle is a little bit different than my undertone on the perimeter, so that gets to be a whole thing. But I tend to put my lighter foundation in the middle. I concentrate on my eyes, trying to cover the dark circles and all of that. So I'm placing my foundation, my concealer, my color corrector. Everything is placed very strategically, and then I blend and I blend out the edges. So when for example, when I go in with my concealer, I'm not going in with the triangle look. It has its purpose. I don't use that look. I strategically place a color corrector in the corners where it's dark and a little bit on the edges where it's dark. And then I blend that corrector out and blend in my foundation. And that seems to be working for now. My technique has changed over time, and that's normal. It's supposed to change as your needs change. But thoughtful placement helps you look more polished without looking overdone. Also, I powder less and I powder with intention. So, powder can be helpful. I do tend to powder underneath my eyes to set the under eye concealer. I don't do as much powdering around the outside of my face as I used to. I remember one day I did that and I looked in the mirror. I was like, oh, my skin looked like just dry. Now I wanted a matte look, but that wasn't the look I was going for. And I had deduced that that day I had used too much powder. I used a spray setting powder as well as a loose powder. It was just too much. So now I've learned to just put the powder where I need it, which really is here in the middle for me and underneath the eyes. You want to keep some life in your skin. You want some movement. You want to keep some softness. You don't want to look like so you want to blend for softness, not perfection. Sometimes we chase a perfect finish when what actually looks best is a soft one. You want to make sure you blend out your edges. So ideally, we don't want to see that, blush is here, and her blush is right here, and then her concealer's right here, and then her eyeshadow. We want it to be just a beautiful painting and really enhancing the natural beauty that you already have. As I was saying, mature beauty is not about masking. It is about enhancing and not erasing your face. You just want to support it more beautifully. So when your makeup starts feeling heavier than it used to, the answer might not be the makeup. You may need to take a softer, smarter approach, which brings me to my next point, a mindset shift. One of the most powerful things we can do is to stop seeing mature skin as a problem to fix. Mature skin has lived, it's expressive, it's skin that has carried us through our lives. So our goal is not to fight our face, our goal is to work with it and the changes that happen. When you approach your makeup routine with a gentleness, with a curiosity, and a willingness to adjust what no longer serves you, beauty becomes lighter. It becomes more enjoyable. And honestly, it becomes more effective. But sometimes the biggest difference is not the product. Sometimes it's just permission to do less, to soften your technique, and to trust that radiance doesn't require heaviness. Radiance, honestly, comes from intention, from caring for your skin, from choosing what enhances it instead of what hides it, for giving yourself time and grace to evolve your routine as you evolve. To me, that is beauty as a wellness practice. And when you begin to see makeup as support instead of correction, you create space for a much softer, more confident glow. So the question is, which one of these 5 shifts do you think would make the biggest difference in your makeup routine right now? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget, your glow isn't just about makeup, it's about how you treat yourself every single day. If you've enjoyed this Just a Sip, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And remember, I don't know what we're going to remember, so we're going to do that again. If you've enjoyed this Just a Sip, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who deserves a quick glow up. Until I see you next time, bye-bye.